The problem with socialism is socialism. The problem with capitalism is capitalists. William Schlamm. Now, William Schlamm was originally a communist, but he came around to the ideas of capitalism, but not because of respecting the business leaders involved, but because of respecting the system. And all too often, those of us who believe in the principles of free and voluntary production of goods and services and exchange of them run into challenges because too many people associate the ills, the cheats, the misapplications by business leaders to the entire system of capitalism. This is one of the biggest things holding back the cause of freedom and liberty. And it's one of the biggest opportunities for us to make a difference by getting business leaders to stand up for the system in which they operate, to be not only the best advocates of capitalism, but the best representatives of it as well, by using it to create value for everyone involved in the system, which is what capitalism is all about. Now, there are a number of reasons why business leaders don't defend capitalism. Sometimes there are business owners who aren't actually business leaders. They inherited their business, or they don't understand what they're in control over. And so they feel guilty and they want to apologize for it. Plenty of managers in businesses don't understand the system because they operate within bureaucratic institutions. They're trained to be managers, not to be entrepreneurs. Plenty of business leaders are so focused on their own business, they don't think they need to worry about the capital structure in general. Or they just want to keep their heads low. They want to protect their business, and so they're not going to get involved in anything controversial. And for way too many, they know that capitalism is morally right, that it creates prosperity for everyone, but they're too scared to speak up because they don't want to be attacked and criticized for being one of the lone advocates for liberty, for reason, for the free market system. Now, I know all of this, and I know the problem because before I came into business, when I was a teenager, I may have had entrepreneurial instincts and wanted to start both for-profit and nonprofit organizations. But I didn't think of business as the way to change the world. I was indoctrinated to believe that the only way to do so was to become a philosophy professor. That's how you really change things in this world. But while I was in school, when I felt alone as the only person who believed in liberty on my campus, I decided to start a group, the Penn Libertarians, which turned into what became a one-time Students for Liberty conference that turned into Students for Liberty, a global movement of young people who believe in the principles of a free society and are developing leadership skills to make a difference. I felt isolated and alone when I thought I was the only libertarian on campus, and then became reinvigorated, more outspoken, was able to help other people out when I realized there were others like me. And then in 2016, I went to go run another organization called Conscious Capitalism, started by John Mackey, the founder of Whole Foods. And what I discovered there is that so many business leaders who agree with us feel the same way. I can't tell you how many business leaders when I was at Conscious Capitalism would come up to me and say, I thought I was the only person in business who believed in these ideas, who believed that business was fundamentally good, that it was about creating value for others, and that I could collaborate with them, I could learn from them, and that I could speak out without fear of reprisal. The similarities were shocking to me, but the problem continues on today. Too many business leaders feel alone and don't know how to help introduce principled business to other business leaders to help them grow. It's time for us to make a change, but the challenge is daunting. Because in the business world, we are facing a bootleggers and Baptist problem that we're going up against. During the Prohibition era, it wasn't just bootleggers who enjoyed the benefits of alcohol being illegal. Of course they supported it because they were making a massive profit on it. But they got moral backing from the Baptists who believed that alcohol was fundamentally evil and immoral and were the public face of making sure prohibition stayed in effect. In the business world today, we're facing the same problem, where activists who don't believe in capitalism, who think it's fundamentally evil and are looking for different ways to bring it down, are providing the moral cover for business people who aren't principled in order to advance their own interests at the expense of the system and at the expense of the principles that make capitalism great. What we need is business leaders in the middle who want to create real value for everyone, who want to establish prosperity, and who want to respect liberty and freedoms for everyone, to be able to stand up, to work together, and build a better future for everyone. That's why me and several others first started Liberty Ventures, which is an ecosystem of purpose-driven investors and entrepreneurs committed to advancing a free and prosperous future. We're bringing together investors who care about freedom and prosperity to work with one another and find entrepreneurs who share those values, to invest in them early on and help them build their businesses to not only be successful in business, but to be able to use those platforms in their position to continue to advance liberty beyond their business. The strategy is not find companies that are disrupting regulated industries or that are inherently related to liberty. We're looking at businesses across the board. It's about finding entrepreneurs who are committed to these principles that we're able to support and work with in the long term. But we know that investing in entrepreneurs isn't enough. It's a good start. But what we really need is a movement of business leaders who are committed to these principles, developing new initiatives to advance freedom. That's why right here, right now, I'm excited to announce the formation of a new organization, Principled Business, that's building that movement of business leaders to be both the best representatives of and advocates for capitalism that they can be. Principled Business is going to be working with three main groups. We want to bring business leaders who are committed to these principles to the table to work with one another, to share best practices with each other, and to develop new businesses, new projects, new nonprofits that are advancing freedom in the world in order to build this ecosystem in a way that they know they're not alone anymore. But we can't just work with those established business leaders alone. We're also going to be supporting entrepreneurs, encouraging more young people who believe in these ideas to go into business to change the world. Because yes, academia is great. Think tanks are great. Politics is necessary. The law and journalism, we need all of that. But at the end of the day, the greatest advocates for capitalism should be capitalists themselves. And that is one of the untapped opportunities for us to advance liberty. So we're going to be running educational campaigns. We're going to be launching an accelerator program. We're going to be establishing mentorship programs where the established business leaders can work with entrepreneurs. All of that is coming soon to build this ecosystem. And of course, we're going to be reaching out to the public. We want to make sure that people across the United States and the globe understand the positive stories of capitalism out there. All too often, the media highlights those business people who are trying to exploit others, who are committing fraud, who are cheats, who aren't creating real value in the world. They don't highlight the positive examples of business leaders who are making the world a better place. Yet there are countless examples of them out there, flying under the radar. Not just the people who run public companies, but mid-market, small business owners who are creating tangible value, who are too humble to share their stories themselves. We are going to proactively go out there and share these stories for them to get recognition for the power of business to make the world better off. Now, for anyone in here who's in business, I want to invite you to join us, to go to principledbusiness.org, sign up to become a member, and offer to be a mentor to young entrepreneurs who share these values. To come out to one of our first gatherings for Principled Business. We're going to be holding our very first Principled Business Summit at Richard Branson's Necker Island, January 3rd through 6th. With incredible speakers already lined up, like John Mackey from Whole Foods, Alan Murray from Fortune, and others who are committing to join right now. And of course, to bring your friends, your fellow business leaders into this movement as well, and to share your story with the world, because that's the way we really change hearts and minds. It's not through statistics. It's not even through just doing the right thing, because walking the walk isn't enough. You need to talk the walk, explain to people what you're doing, and to connect with them at the heart level so they are able to understand what you're doing and connect with you personally. I remember a few years ago talking with a business leader who runs a bank out of Michigan about the challenges that he sees he's facing in his community. Economic depression, drugs infiltrating the community, and businesses leaving, and seeing the dangers of the criticism of business that was happening there, accelerating all of this. And I emphasized to him the importance of him going out and sharing his story, coming up from nothing, building this successful bank, and everything that he was doing to advance the community in order to encourage more people to not just go to his bank, but to go and support businesses like his bank, to go and be business leaders like him to make a difference in the world. That's what we need all of you here in this room to do. That's what we need everyone watching this to do. To go share your story, to encourage other business people to stand up for these ideas, to be proactive, not only as capitalists, but as advocates for capitalism as well. So again, if you want to get involved, please go to either libertyventures.vc or principledbusiness.org. Learn more about how to be a principled business leader. Share it with your community and bring other people in to be the best representative of and advocate for capitalism that you can be. Thank you so much, everyone.